By the way, I hate wearing white t-shirts. I'm doing this for.
3.8 out of 5.
Whoa, no!
That just doesn't work for us.
Sound, speeding, camera, rolling, scene 86, take 303, mark.
No half, no half stars on take 303. No half, no half, no half stars on take 303. No half, no half, no half stars on take 303.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by Fort Wayne Media, the podcast with the guy who knows a lot about film.
And his friend.
I'm Nick Molinari.
I'm JP Brooks. We're talking everything film and television, and today we are talking about Speak No Evil.
Was that on purpose, or you want to run that back?
No, it was good. I wouldn't show my tits in that, but we're good.
I could toss a censor on that. So first, in cinematic news, James Cameron is directing an adaptation to The Last Train from Hiroshima. It is a book from 2015. But before I even get into that, how does this man have any time with all the avatars? Apparently, he's doing this after he finishes Avatar 5. It is worth noting that at the time of this taping, we have only gotten 2 avatars.
What? He's making 5 Avatar movies?
No, there was water, now there's fire, then there's going to be wind. He's really just doing the whole Nickelodeon thing, going all over the place.
Okay.
I don't know what this man is doing. John Cena is to star in a Mattel toy film adaptation of Matchbox.
Okay. Sorry, Nick. Just do your thing. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Who
me.
am I to tell you?
We're all people.
Did you hear all that, though?
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about the Mattel movie with John Cena.
Okay.
Find me a person, and you fuckers in the comments, I know you're out there, you're gonna, I care about John Cena in the Mattel movie. Go fuck yourself.
Lucasfilms is being sued over Rogue One.
The greatest Star Wars movie of all time?
Yes.
Why?
Their use of Peter Cushing, because he was CGI, he had died previously, but 8 years after the movie comes out, they're now suing.
Well, it's a good movie, so I get it.
The Hunt for Gollum, a Lord of the Rings spin-off, will be reportedly split into 2 movies, 2 more than we really needed. Who asked for this? Really?
I can't believe they're making one!
I've been meaning to binge Lord of the Rings lately. I haven't seen it in a couple of years.
It's a good time.
It is. And speaking of a good time, the last thing in cinematic news, Inside Out 2. There are some rumors at Pixar. Something that a couple of people picked up on, and one thing that I said in the car on the way back when we left Inside Out 2 is that apparently the writers and the animators were told to make Riley appear less gay. This is cinematic news, so you can fire off as appropriately as you can.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So apparently there were just like a lot of like minuscule things that had to change to make sure that it definitely came off that it was a platonic friendship.
Yeah. Idolize,
like yeah.
Look up to, because of hockey skills, nothing more
right,
than that.
and nothing more than that. Because a lot of people did have some theories, and especially when you look up to a girl with red hair.
All right, let's talk about today's movie.
All right, so let's talk more about Speak No Evil after the break.
Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a dream. Something that needs to be captured on the big screen. We at Fort Wayne Media love taking your passion projects and bringing them to life. Whether you're a passionate artist or a small business owner, with expert videography and photography, we're going to take what you love to do, what you love to make, and transform it into a cinematic experience. Fort Wayne Media.
All right, and we're back, and we're talking James Watkins' Speak No Evil, starring James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, and Scoot McNairy. It's worth noting that James McAvoy is 5th on this list of stars here, where clearly this is the James McAvoy show. But I digress. Go ahead.
Speak No Evil follows an uptight, wealthy family who are currently on a vacation. The mother dotes over the daughter and is very protective. The father, a little shy and pulled away as his family is struggling to find happiness and joy. They meet a very loosey-goosey, all over the place, silly, carefree family, and soon a relationship between the two families develop as they begin to rub off on one another. When the very carefree family invites the very uptight family over to their own farmhouse, things take a drastic turn as tensions grow high and strange things begin to happen. That's Speak No Evil.
And before we speak about Speak No Evil, you do actually look good in that shirt. It's a good white shirt.
I hate white shirts.
I know you hate white shirts, but it's actually looking pretty good on the monitor.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
We did make it.
The brown man in the colored shirt and the white man in the white shirt. The way God intended. The way... sorry, we're still on Am I Racist vibes.
Yeah.
I'm chilling. Yeah.
It's just gotten way too open. Honestly, there's a lot of people that I've seen that are that have been stretching out on the street like this, and I think it's really just a common stretching move.
If you do this enough, my shirt color will actually change. You'll see it as we progress.
Every time I see somebody in the street doing that, I think it's like they watch the movie. They're doing the work. But Speak No Evil, I have heard literally nothing about this movie, so I guess nobody is speaking of the evil. Yeah, all I knew going in really was that it was a remake of a Danish film, and that was about it. Did you hear anything?
I heard one person say it's good. That's it. It's a good movie. That's it.
Yeah, I don't even think I've seen the trailer for this movie, really. I probably have only seen, like, TV spots for it, and all the TV spots, I hate that I've seen it, but it's clearly, like, obvious from the very beginning. Because all the TV spots just have James McAvoy freaking out like an asshole, and it's just like, oh yeah, he's gonna go psycho at some point in this movie. And when you watch the movie, it's very like there's so many clues, lots of foreshadowing. There's actually some really good foreshadowing in this movie.
Very good foreshadowing.
I always appreciate a good foreshadow.
Love a foreshadow.
Yeah, but yeah, so this is it's very similar to things like Cape Fear. If you ever seen that one,
I have.
Yeah, so if you like movies like that, this is up your alley. What were you thinking going in?
I was thinking, man, is this going to be stupid? And will there be enough there to drag you in? And it is a real slow burn, but there is just, they really, like, you have questions, and even at times, I think they really do make a good job of, like, not only are we playing the main characters a little bit, but they're playing us too as an audience. Like, sometimes I'm really not sure, like, wait, I know they're supposed to be, but they're really selling it.
Yeah. Like they the whole job of the first like hour and 30 really is to make you question yourself. Like, is everything what it is? Are they being crazy? Are they being paranoid? Is someone dangerous? Like, and it also takes you into like this kind of thing of like meeting strangers. Like, our generation in particular, we take it kind of an advantage, because we go out and meet people all the time. We go on apps and meet people. Like, we really don't think about a lot of these things.
I go to a random, like, part of what I do is on some Monday nights, I found a group of people who play board games because I like to play board games, and I met up on an app that meets with strangers, find people who have similar interests. So yeah, we definitely stranger danger, like on the street, on the block, like don't talk candy-wise, but the internet, you know, it's opened up a door for us. I think.
You're like, oh, we're on the same website and we both like that book. Let's go hang out. Yeah,
book club.
Basically, so it really does kind of make things very like plausible. And what I really liked about the beginning and especially the second act is a lot of these things actually can happen. We don't see them a lot. We didn't see them in January or February, but there were stakes. They were so good. And when they're there and when they're good, it's like, like, yeah, like, of course, that sounds great. Let's do that. Or this doesn't sound great. Let's kind of like act like we do and like do this thing and then go somewhere else. Like, there were stakes. There were actual moments where I was on the edge of my seat, and I love movies that can do that.
Yeah, the tension is real, and that's because, going what you said about the stakes, but what I really like is that Everything, I think I'm really just repeating what you said. Everything feels genuine. And what I think, if I could add anything to what you've already said, is politeness for when you meet strangers. That awkwardness of like too much, not enough, like learning people's boundaries is just a natural part of like talking to people and getting to know them. And watching those boundaries get crossed and pulled back, an apology, gaslighting a little bit too. It's just amazing to watch because I felt awkward and I even crumbled in my seat. Like imagining a situation happening to me like that, of like at dinner and someone goes, a little poo on my finger.
Like, just for example, because we're talking very vague. We obviously don't want to spoil a lot for this movie. But in the very beginning, like first or second scene, really, when the two families first meet, and the little girl, the daughter of the main couple, she sees this Vespa that James McAvoy's character has, and she's like, "Oh, I'd love to go on that," and the father can't. He doesn't know how to drive that. So James McAvoy's like, "Yeah, I'll take her around the block." Yeah. And like, I'm just thinking of all the times that my mom wouldn't even let me go to the corner and turn by myself, let alone hop on another person's moped and just let him take you around the block.
I wasn't allowed to cross the one-way street in the quiet neighborhood. I wasn't allowed to cross the street unless my mom watched me do it. Yeah. So
it's such an awkward but real like scene when you're seeing the parents both conflicted about like, oh, this is a timed kind of like answer that you have to give this man, and then you also have to like not feel bad for saying, no, you can't drive my daughter just randomly around Italy. We just got here. We just met you like 2 seconds ago.
It's this wonderful game of, and I think people naturally do this unless you've lost that filter, and I'm slowly losing it. I feel great about it. It's not being afraid to offend somebody. Mm-hmm. But I think most people, especially on a vacation or a nice spot like that, nobody wants to offend anybody. And it's amazing what lengths and what people will let go to preserve that. Simply if the other person is coming with honest and good intentions. I just remember, I'm sure you remember being a kid. I think everyone's had this, where your parents want you to do something to be nice, and you are just like, please God, don't make me do this, with another family. So you can feel it, from the first scene of just the mother panicking, please don't drive my child, please don't. Oh, okay, fine. Just one quick. Okay, you'll go slow, right? I'll go slow, and he goes slow, and then he just fucking
rams it up. Yeah. So clearly, this is all about performances, and it's kind of a stupid question to ask. Who stands out?
James fucking McAvoy.
James McAvoy. Eddie kind of warned me about this movie. He goes, "Do you think this is gonna be a good movie?" And I was like, Eddie, you haven't had a good track record lately. Like 0 for 0, like on everything. I'm probably doing that wrong.
It's 0 for and then the number he's missed by.
I'm not a sports guy.
Hey, we're okay, Nick.
Thank you.
But you did get one thing right. Eddie's a fucking terrible better.
Yeah, so he goes, he's like, I've seen the trailers, doesn't look great. I was like, dude, I hoped that this would stand true when we got to this movie, but I've never seen a bad James McAvoy movie.
Fair. He's always good in everything he does, and even if the movie's not great, it's still good because of him. I think,
it's crazy that like literally the first time I've ever seen him was in Wanted, and it was such a cool movie. It wouldn't be like an Oscar worthy movie, but he still knocks it out of the park in that movie. Like he really
iconic scene with like flipping out at his boss.
Yeah, crazy. Any movie that I've seen him in afterwards, absolutely killed it. He was amazing in Split. Oh, I think he didn't get enough credit for Split.
Unimaginably good.
Like you could literally see him go through all the personalities, the little differences in his face, differences in his voice. The man literally transforms into his character. And honestly, the scariest moment for me in this movie is just seeing him in a pair of shorts. I was not ready for that. I was like, I've never seen this man dress casual. I was like, oh man, he's crazy. I was like, I saw him come out with like a t-shirt on, like a Hawaiian t-shirt and shorts. I was like, oh my God, he's really crazy.
James McAvoy is dominating. Like he's just so good. But you got to give credit to the rest of the cast as well. Everybody's playing their characters, I think, perfectly. Like the mom, the overprotective mom, the uptight. is like
Pitch perfect.
pitch perfect because those characters can be annoying, but at some point in the film, like you're kind of rooting for her.
You know what? This reminds me of a movie.
I'm sure you know it right off the top of your head,
Yeah.
Nick. What is it?
I am the guy who knows a lot about movies. Funny Games.
Funny Games. Never heard of it.
It's actually with Naomi Watts.
Oh,
Yeah.
not Nicole Kidman or Jodie Foster.
Not Nicole Kidman or Jodie Foster. It gets confused a lot for that movie on the plane.
With Jodie Foster.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but there was a movie called Funny Games. It also was a remake of, I want to say, a Danish or Swedish film also. And it was about this family trapped in a house. They're in their own house, and it gets invaded by like two robbers. And they just play mind games with them. It's an absolutely insane movie, but this is what it kind of feels like. It's very much grounded in reality. It's playing on all these characters. So every single person in this film, it kind of feels like a play almost, because every single character is 100% necessary. There are no fluff characters. It's very secluded. It's almost one location.
Pretty happy that we're tied to basically one farmhouse the whole movie. Very nice. Very kind. Love that.
Yeah, so I think the mom is doing an incredible job. I've only seen her, I think, in one other movie. She was in a rom-com, but she's doing really good work here.
The dad being just a weak
Cuck of a man.
What a cuck. But dude, I hate him. Like, I'm just so annoyed but I think that's the character. Like, you're supposed to just loathe this guy. Like, do something.
Yeah, I had like so many moments where I was like, oh, come on.
But that's the kind of guy who falls for stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know.
No, because there were so many moments where, like, the little moments between husband and wife where he was like, no, let's do this. Let's stay for 5 more minutes. Let's
try to
pushover. Be nicer, something like, why do you have to be nicer to strangers as opposed to your wife who's right there?
Yeah.
And she's clearly uncomfortable.
If we're friends or you're close to someone, you're not afraid to offend them because you're so close. And then strangers, you put on this whole show to be kind. And it's really good. And that's like, I mean, going in, the movie's called Speak No Evil. So it's a horror flick and like tense. And even though you know all this going into it, you're still just, oh man, gripping your chair, just like, get out. What are you doing?
Yeah. It's funny because like I saw the foreshadowing in the title almost immediately.
Yeah.
But I will forgive the movie for that. Like I was like, I know where this is going.
Yeah, like you kind of know, like
yeah. Like as soon I was like, it didn't hit me initially, but once, you probably know the scene. Like once the kids start talking, I was like, okay, I know exactly what's going on here. So that wasn't easily hid, but honestly I didn't need that to be hid. I was like, this is all about, like, it's like movies like kind of like The Talented Mr. Ripley, Cape Fear, The Guest, where there's like clearly a character that's sinister and like we all know but they don't know, and it
drives you crazy.
Yeah, it's the Hitchcock ticking time bomb. I applaud it because I'm like, I like movies that can keep me on the edge of my seat. I just saw Rebel Ridge 2 weeks ago, and I think that was like the most suspenseful movie of the year. Now I have to rethink that.
Yeah, and very much like almost like emotional trauma, which is what James McAvoy is doing. You literally don't know what he's gonna do. If there's one thing I can say I loved about this movie, I could not predict. Pretty much, except for the moment where the title, like that's part of it. But beyond that, I legit like he'll get emotional randomly. Like he controls the conversation.
I did love that, but I also love all the little lines that he has. And the funny thing about this is, clearly this is a vehicle for James McAvoy. No one's disagreeing with that, but there is so much in his dialogue and the way he presents it in the writing, it is just so pitch perfect. It is like a screenwriter's wet dream at this point, because he is giving away so many options for the story. Like every time he talks about like his parents and stuff like that, I was like, oh, this opens up so many different doors for like what is actually happening. Like so it's not like just needless things that are thrown around. movies from January and February, pay attention. Like, you don't need all that extra stuff. If you actually put in really good breadcrumbs and lead them in and have them question things, Maharaja, you can actually keep people on the edge of their seat and keep them guessing till the very end, even though technically we know what was going to happen. We knew where it was heading. We just didn't know when it was going to happen. And I think that's the fun part.
Yeah, and the best scene in the movie for me is when they ask him what his occupation is. And that's been established literally since the first scene in the movie. He goes, oh, I don't do that. That's not my job.
Yeah, and that's so... It had random bits of comedy in it as well, which I think might be attributed to it being from Danish writing, that I feel like there's things maybe lost in translation from the culture.
Dry humor.
Yeah. Does Europeans be dry, you know?
Dry humor.
But I think that scene was just so good for many reasons. Because even though they laugh it off and he's like, I gotcha.
I'm uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, but also like, where is your like certificates?
Charisma, people lying, it's so good. But I talk about like the ticking time bomb. It's in that moment, it's a fake out of the ticking time bomb, because you know at some point it's going to go horribly wrong, and then in that moment they're like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen right now, and then they trick the audience as well. So that was a great fake out, because I thought, like, you can't just let that hang after everything that's happened. And they save it. I'm like, dude, you're so, like, way to get people, and then, like, he's a great manipulator.
The funny thing about that scene is we still have to question ourselves.
Is it? Yeah.
Did she actually do that?
Who in the family is actually in on it, and who is it? Is it one person?
Exactly. So that kind of mind game and all these little breadcrumbs in the dialogue, that's stuff that I really like, because there was also no point in this movie. I know you just came from work. When did you start today?
I left the house around like 6:30 in the morning.
Okay, and there was no point in this movie that you felt like nodding off.
No, this is like my 13th day working in a row. I was fully locked in and engaged.
That's what I'm saying. I was up early this morning too. I took a 12-mile bike ride today, not bragging, but also I did not feel like nodding off at all.
No, your attention is fully gripped. Every scene is literally like, this guy is so unhinged and so sadistic. But that's always how it is. It's the outside looking in. I think, how many times have your friends or people tell you, like, dude, what are you doing with that person? They're awful. Like, don't trust them. Don't this. But you're so invested and so, like, captivated by the person in front of you that, you don't see the things. And even when you do see them, you make excuses or like, what's the harm? What's the harm? So I really loved it. And there, if I have some problems with this movie, if there are any, making decisions to go back.
I saw you look over when they went back for the teddy bear, and I was just like, yeah, like, that's the time when you're in the car and you're just like, fuck the teddy bear. Like,
I'm mad, but
you get it.
I get it. I'm so mad at it, but I get it. The one that is inexcusable is after what he tells her after the ladder to go. Like, that is like, exactly what's gonna happen. That's probably the only time in the movie I was just like.
But the thing is, like, even though it sounds crazy, it still makes sense, because they're trying to appease and like pretend nothing's wrong. He may or may not know at this point. Like, there's a lot of little things.
I'm talking about the second ladder, when they're trying to escape and everything's gone to shit. Oh. And he tells her, hey, go by yourself, young lady. Yeah. Let me...
Okay.
That part. The first ladder, I know. I like that scene. Second ladder, not so much.
Okay, we're jumping around a little bit too much. Yeah. My favorite scene is basically their final leave during the day, when they're like, okay, now we got to get out. That whole sequence, loved it. There's a lot going on in just dialogue, the actions, and then just the eye movements. Even when especially when James McAvoy goes, "You're not being truthful," and the wife is like, "Yeah, I'm not," and I'm like,
"Oh boy!"
Girl. I was like, "No, you didn't even start the car," and then she pulls something else out. I was like, "Okay, this is." Now I'm invested. January and February movies, really, just get it together. Do something.
And and it's that moment where the wife changes, right? She transforms in that moment. She's now doing what these people have been doing to her, manipulating, playing on emotions. You're right, like, because the whole time, the way that James McAvoy and them keep this family around, this uptight family, which I think on any other day of the week, any other place in the universe, they would never even tolerate, consider, entertain the idea of anything that's going on here.
Yeah.
But she finally does what they've done, which is emotionally, like, sandbag and destroy the conversation, like, feel bad for me, pity me. And they're like, oh, okay, we pity you.
I think everyone had a really, really strong arc, except for maybe James McAvoy's wife.
Yeah, it's kind of thrown in there at the end. I think we think for a moment it's just him, it's not her. Mm-hmm. And then slowly over time we watch her become more, like, you start not to trust her at all either. I don't feel necessarily malicious intent from her.
Yeah.
And then slowly as it goes on, you can tell she's also doing the manipulating too.
I also loved James McAvoy's motive reveal. With very little exposition, so quick.
But you get it instantly, yeah.
It was so great.
No long monologues about...
no monologues, no Scooby-Doo reveals. It was great. Cinematography, I thought everything was...
Tell the people.
There was a really good crane shot at the end. But look, hang on. I know I love a good crane shot, and who doesn't? Who doesn't?
I don't.
But the crane shot's position was right at the very end when they were coming out of their situation.
I know. Nick.
And then the crane was literally lifting out.
You see, when the crane leaves, they're out of the situation. As we pull back from them, we pull out of the moment.
So who says...
You see how I did the wrong? Yeah. I'm supposed to...
Who says that cinematography can't evoke feelings? And a crane shot can be useful at times. They didn't do more than one crane shot. They knew that they only needed one.
I like how just one crane shot.
I'm owning it.
Yeah, you are. I really liked the first scene. I was actually kind of annoyed, but the drive up and then to have it juxtaposed at the end, always like a full circle kind of deal.
And that opening shot, I really liked it because, I'm the cinematography guy. But it was also kind of my little, like, to know that this movie isn't going to suck. Because I think when people are more attentive around their cinematography and they're more focused and they're trying to do specific things with it, I think that's when you're in the hands of somebody who knows how to tell a story and tell it well.
And a good lack of music here. I don't feel like there was a ton of music, but when they did use it was really well. I felt like there was a lot of times where we're just listening, and it's just no. I can't
you got me thinking. I'm like, was there a lot of score? I feel like there wasn't.
There really wasn't.
And especially in the end where you would think there would be a lot, I think it was a lot of diegetic sound, and I think that might have made it scarier. Yeah. Good call, yeah.
The guy knows a lot about movies and his friend. What can I tell you? It rubs off. He can right off his fucking crane shot to this guy, huh?
You were the sound guy on
but I don't do sound
on Exposed, so maybe something from that.
Is there anything else you want to say about this movie? Because we've really praised it.
There are some silly moments towards the end. I think that
they know it though, right?
They know it. It's just like, but I think two of them, I think they could have avoided. One, they did save themselves in a cut because I was going to be upset about it and I was going to talk about it here. Because every time they disarm somebody with a gun, they never take the gun away from them.
Yeah.
Like, I get that they are the quintessential good guy of the story and they can't shoot the bad guy when they're down on the ground because apparently there's a moral code. In real life, we would have ended that story like in the first confrontation.
10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, not 10 minutes in, but like the first confrontation, once you disarm the person with the gun, let me take the gun and then just, like, not that I have any experience with it, but I'm saying that's what you should probably do. So they did that once, but the second time, they didn't show the person picking up the gun, but in the next shot, they had a gun. I was like, okay, I'll give it to them. So that annoyed me a little bit because it kind of falls into every like horror movie cliche of like running into the house instead of away from the house and that kind of stuff. But also just letting the girl kind of run off onto her own at the end after everything you've been through. The jump from the roof, I'm still debating if it was a good idea. It was hilarious.
So funny.
I was like, let's maybe workshop this. Let's swat it out. Like,
no time to swat it. Gotta jump it.
When you're 3 floors up, I don't know.
I think some of the cliche horror movie stuff, like this movie is very smart. And so I think they're smart enough to realize that like some of this dry, ironic humor comes in. Some of the morbid humor comes in. Like it's funny because you know you're not supposed to laugh, but it's presented in such a way so that you do laugh. I think some of that is baked in there. Also, you know, you got to have the classic, you know, final, like what if the movie ends with them just getting in the car and leaving? Like you need something at the end. But one of the most satisfying, the last thing I want to say about the movie, one of the people who were hurt from this family, the way that it ends, I really did not see that coming. This is interesting.
Yeah, we didn't expect this on a Thursday. But let's go for final thoughts and ratings.
Yeah, this is a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna go first.
Okay, that plot twist.
No, this is a 5. Yeah, this is a 5 out of 5. Smart writing, smart execution, smart performances, great tension. I mean, this is what you want out of a movie like this, and you got to laugh along the way too. A couple of issues, but I think I'm gonna be honest. It all fits. I think this movie knows what it's doing, and it knows what it's supposed to be. And when you have James McAvoy being your psychotic lead man, damn, what a great time. 5 out of 5. I didn't think I was going to give it 5, but after we talk about it more, I'm like, damn, this is a good movie. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I really didn't question it too much during the film as well. I was like, this kind of has everything. I didn't need more than this. Like, it's so interesting because we said it multiple times. We knew exactly where this movie was headed the moment the movie started.
Yeah.
Even without seeing the trailers, I saw maybe like 10 seconds of a trailer. I knew where this movie was heading, but somehow I still really was so engaged into this movie, on the edge of my seat, always questioning things, always looking at little things. I didn't even notice the guy sticking his head in the window until you tapped me, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's these little things in the corners that you always have to keep looking for. If it hasn't been obvious, I think James McAvoy should also get like a Golden Globe nomination at least.
Just for this performance.
I'm sad that it's kind of also in a horror movie because that doesn't play well with the critics, awards. Right? Yeah. So that's why I didn't get anything really for Split. Across the board, performances, writing, cinematography, you know why. It was just a really good, well-rounded movie. And I think James McAvoy is killing it. The rest of the cast is killing it. I think, literally. And this is a really fun time at the movies. It is a perfect popcorn kind of thriller. It is reminiscent of a couple other movies that if you are a movie buff, it might not seem like the most original idea, but it's also such a great execution of the idea. And honestly, I really want to see the Danish original version. I'd be down for that. So with that being said, I think this is kind of like a perfect thriller, at least definitely for 2024. I could definitely see it popping into my top 10. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that says it all. Man, we've had a good run. September's been nice.
Megalopolis,
baby. Let's ruin September with a fucking bang. It's been another episode of Take 303. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do it for the algorithm. And tell us what you think of Speak No Evil. Are you going to see it? Are you not going to see it? And if you did, what did you think of it? Do you think it's 5 out of 5? Would love to leave your rating below. Reminder, no half stars. All half-star ratings get deleted. Out of 5, that's our brand. And make sure you're also following us at Take.303 on Instagram and FortWay_media. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time when we watch Megalopolis.
Let's make it a hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag Megalopolis. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.